Welcome to Empower Your Passion with President James Hendrick. A little bit Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, success, confidence, and pride coach, and adversity educator. He'll teach you the tools and tips to help you achieve your best life, extraordinary life right now. So if you're ready, let's join together. Come on, folks, be ready. Let's fly. Yeehaw! Welcome, guys. I'm back on board. I've been under with depression the past couple of days, but I'm back. Today we're going to talk about how to close a good business deal. Now, these strategies are used primarily in the networking business. This is with Ray Higdon. So let me make sure that there are no distractions around me. Ray Higdon.
So first I'm going to share with you how to find the perfect prospects. In fact, I'm going to share with you a story from my own wedding. Then I'm going to share with you 2 exact stories of how I converted people who said they were not going to join. Then I'm going to share with you a ninja closing statement that if you make, you will make more sales. So one of the biggest keys for you to make more sales is for you to not fizzle out, for you to not get frustrated, for you to not burn yourself out. The way that you do that is you stop trying to close everyone, and instead you just see who's open. This may sound counterintuitive, because if you want to close the deal, right, shouldn't you try to close everybody? That is exactly what burns people out. If you're trying to close people who aren't open to what it is that you're doing, then you are going to not only get frustrated, you're going to lose some friends. You're going to have friends talk behind your back, and depending on those friends, some may say it to your front. And so you want to avoid being the person that's just trying to close everyone. And let me give you an example. So if you opened a lumber store, would you go to all your friends and family and say, hey man, just buy some plywood? No, that makes no sense. Just because everyone can do your network marketing business doesn't mean they should or that they want to. And so start to have distinctions of finding out who's open to taking a look, who wants the benefits of the product or the service, or who wants the benefit of having a work from home business. You'll find it's not all of your friends, so no need to lose them, no need for you to get frustrated. If you can have this time-saving hack where you're just talking to people who are open, you're naturally going to make more sales, and it'll be a much easier process for you. Let me share about my wedding. So the owners of the company that I was the number 1 income earner of, they came to my wedding, and I didn't know it, but one of them, my buddy Chris, was doing an experiment. You see, he had been at his brother's wedding 2 weeks prior, and he went to this wedding, and he went around to all of his brother's, friends that were there that he, didn't know, and he asked them if they knew about the company. Now, his brother was in the company, was a rep, was in before I was, and was, high up in the chain. He couldn't find a friend that knew the name of the company. He came to my wedding. He wanted to duplicate the experiment. He couldn't find one person at our wedding who I hadn't asked if they were open to taking a look. Now, that doesn't mean I closed them all. Certainly did not. But I was addicted to my activity, not their response. So I decided I was going to ask everybody if they're open to taking a look at what it is that I'm doing, but I didn't have that addiction of whether they were or not. That's a very powerful hack for you to save time and frustration. So now I want to share with you 2 stories of people that I had prospected that told me they weren't going to join, they weren't going to buy, but I got them to anyway. So the first one is I was at a home meeting in Naples, Florida, and I did the presentation, and at the time, it was the last company that I was actually involved in. It was a travel company. One of my reps brings up his guest, and he says, hey, Ray, my guest says he doesn't travel. What do you say to that? If you're in a travel company, someone says they don't travel, they don't want to join, what would you say? Well, I said, well, I'm just curious, if you could travel, where would you go? And he's like, I'm like, I'm just curious, it's just a random question. And he said, well, and here's a closing hack for you. Anytime I heard someone sigh or do a pause, I knew that what they were about to say to me was important and powerful. And almost every single time I heard that, they were going to join the team. And so he sighs. He's like, well, it may sound stupid, but I have this koi pond. And I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with anything, right? I have this koi pond, and these fish are from this certain lake in Africa, and, it'd be cool to visit that lake someday. Now, most people, they never have someone else challenge them to their greatness, and that's the stance I took. I said, well, when the hell are you going to go see that lake? And he thought about it. He looked down. He thought about it. He's like, you're right. And he joined. I don't know if he ever made it to that lake. I don't know if the company had a trip to that lake. But what I do know is that people love it when you speak to their greatness. When you speak to something that's important to them, that's powerful. So finding out what is important to someone. Let me give you another example. So I had prospected this guy, and he had watched the presentation, and I followed up with him, and I said, hey, what'd you like about the presentation? He said, no thanks. I watched it, but it's just not for me. There's a thing in sales called position. If someone's watched the presentation, they're not in position 0, they're in position 1. And so they have done an action that I can use as information. Now, some people will tell you, no thanks, I don't want to watch a presentation. Then you're back at square one, right? You got nothing to go on. But someone that watches a presentation, they wanted something out of it. They took their time to do something. So they want something. What is it that they want? What's important to them? And so I said, well, I'm curious. You took the time to watch the presentation. What were you hoping to see? Which you may want to write that down. What were you hoping to see? If you ever have someone watch a presentation and then they tell you, no thanks, ask them, well, what were you hoping to see? And I've never, not one time in my career, had someone give me a crazy answer. I was hoping it'd grow my arm back, or I was hoping that I'd bury it in the backyard and have gold bullion spit out. I've never had anyone give me something crazy as an answer. They've always given me something that I can actually help with. And so he says, well, I was hoping it was something I could make extra money with. Okay. And I said, well, what would you use the money for? Why are you wanting to make more money? This is very important. Most people stop at the cosmetic. So if someone says, I want to
Hope you enjoy
say,
listening to Empower Your Pattern.
Ask them why.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of Pattern Realm.
I say use it. There's always a reason.
Until next time, don't just sit there and take it. There you go. Go out there and build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't.
Instead of just dropping,
and
and
do what others
something I
won't,
learned.
so you can have it as can't.
Ask more
Please
probing
share this with
questions.
Mama Song, Papa Song, and everyone.
Kind of like,
This is Jimi Hendrix saying until
well, what
next
was you
time.
looking for?
Choose, act,
If
and
they're
pursue
like, no
happiness.
thanks.
God bless you and have a blessed day.
Well, I was hoping it'd save me money. Where is it that you need help saving money with? Well, I was hoping it would help me make some money. Really? Why is that? Fill in the holes. Don't just assume to sell. What you've got to do at that point is, once you've given them the pitch, you've given them the presentation or invited them to a home meeting or a Zoom or whatever, the next thing you do is you find out what their needs are and then consult them with the business. And if they're still saying no, well then let it be. But there may come a time in the future when that person will come back and say, hey, you still have that bet, you're still doing that thing. You can still be going no matter what. And say, yeah, stick with it. Yeah, but Jimmy, if you only knew, man, that's crazy. I know it seems that way. It seems that way, right? But please, hear me out. His was one of the best illustrations I could think of on how to close the deal. Kind of like, did you hear did you watch the presentation? Yes, I've watched it. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. What was you hoping for when you watched it? And then, just ask some probing questions there. Put on your consulting cap. Don't necessarily just push for a sale. You push for a sale, you can lose friends. Learn to consult, rather. That's the best way to close the deal. Push a sale? No. You consult with that person. If for some reason you can't help them, you can't help them. That's when you have to let them go. But if you know that they're expecting something else from that, well then, there you go. You see what you can do by drawing out their greatness. Because that's another thing. Each one of us has greatness inside us. Maybe we've sacrificed it and let it go for years to please others. And we wonder why maybe sometimes we're not so happy. Part of closing the deal sometimes is just getting to their greatness. Yes, that's fine. Find out if there's a product or service you have that can help them. Yes, that's the Best Buy part. The Best Buy part here, my product. But one of the best ways to get around that really is to get the greatness out of them. But whoa, Jimmy, hold on now. Get the greatness out of them? Do you want to keep them as clients for a long time? Well, yeah, of course. Well, then get the greatness out of them. Regardless. That could either make them into a customer, or that can make a prospect into a new recruit. New ways of launching, and there's new ways of launching new recruits, and we'll get to that at some point. But right now, folks, let me tell you something. This is where the beauty comes from. You don't try to close this thing fast. Okay, you don't beg. But you come to the heart of the matter of why this person even agreed to watch your presentation or to come talk to you. Find out why. Because there's always a big why behind something. Deep down, there's people who are craving more. Deep down. I'm one of those people. That's why I designed this podcast, Empower Your Pattern, is to help people who want more, who want to have a better, an extraordinary life right now. Does right now mean it's all done? It's all a bed of roses? No. My life ain't a bed of roses right now, but I'll tell you something. I do my best to live every day a better and extraordinary life right now. Right now. Maybe at some point I will have a lesson on that. Because we need to have that. The power of right now. Okay? Learning on how to close that deal.
it doesn't start with just, what do you think? Hey, did you get a chance to watch the presentation? When did you watch it? What is your impression of it? And instead of just, don't ask, what do you think? Just say, what is your impression? And just ask some good probing questions to get the greatness out of it, okay? Yeah, and if they say, yeah, no, they're not interested, period, well, then move on, because you never know. You're just sorting the type of fruit. Think about that. You're just sorting. You're fishing to see which ones are going to be the big fish and the little fish. Okay? Well, there's a medium too. And there's a story, of course I don't think, well, okay, I'll go ahead and tell you this, because I heard this from two people, the speech. There was a man fishing the big fish and little fish, big fish and little fish. He would take the little fish and throw them back. Every time there was a big fish, no, he put the big fish back, put the little ones on ice in his cooler. And this young boy, when he comes back, says, why is it you were throwing the big fish back and put the little ones in your cooler? And the old man said, well, those little fish, it's all this can fit in my itty-bitty frying pan. What are we limiting ourselves to, guys? Think about that. When you're closing the deal, you've got to look at the possibilities. Yeah, it sounds good to say that you're selling, but look, sales is so 20th century industrial age term, okay? Consulting sounds more sophisticated, more sexy, if you know what I mean. Oh, man, I can't believe you said, no, come on. We can say it. Why can't we have fun with our lives for wanting more and wanting a better and extraordinary life right now? So I say some things sometimes that might be a little bit more progressive and out there. But I'll tell you this much. I know what I admire. And I stand for that. Okay? Yeah, but you making this... You're talking about being a consultant when it comes to closing the deal. That's the best way to be right now. The old industrial age economy is no more. We're in a combined age economy now. And the sooner we grasp that, the better. It's an information creation outcomes economy. Okay? And there's niches in any one of those three areas in this combined age. But the sooner we see that, the better off we're going to be. Okay? Now, we're going to close this out. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting episode, We're going to be talking about pressing the message inside you the God's way. So be ready for that. Folks, I've had Ray Higdon show you some of his ideas for closing a deal, and I've given you some of mine. And I hope that wisdom helps you somehow. Because if we can be the consultants of the new economy, we can get rid of some of the tired things from the previous economy that aren't working and make the big difference in the world around us. Okay? Because I'm still trying to school us as what's going on. Took a lot to really get me to want to do this episode. but I'm grateful that I did it. And I hope that this blesses you that are ready to get back into talking about business. Oop, wrong one. Hope you enjoy. Please subscribe, become a part of Having Realm. Until next time, don't sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. And do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others won't so you can have what others can't. Please share this with Mama Son, Papa Son, and everyone. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless you. Remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jenny loves you. I really, really love you. God bless you, and have a blessed day.